Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 563 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. It's good to be with you. I've been super busy lately with design work, which I just love. I feel like I'm in my element when I'm making spaces beautiful, just like I do when I'm working on the podcast too. I feel like that is making things beautiful too, but in a different way. So I'm really glad you're here. We can make things more beautiful together, even if it's just in our own lives, or maybe someone close to us too. So our relationships, the people that we surround ourselves with, they're so important, aren't they? I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it forever, is that they're a huge source of joy, but they can also be a huge source of pain. Have you ever noticed that? I was recently listening to a video from Brene Brown. She was talking about how to find peace when a relationship ends without resolution. So maybe it ended with silence, or maybe it ended with a slammed door. The hard part about that is that reconciliation maybe isn't possible, not because you don't try, but because they won't, or maybe the situation isn't safe. So we drag around this unreconciled relationship like emotional baggage. And so often we hear people say, it's time to move on, or you can tell that they think, oh, you should be over it by now. But what if that relationship is your sister, like in my situation, or your mom, like in a friend of mine's situation? It can feel really unfair. Making peace doesn't mean saying what happened was okay. It actually means saying you no longer want it to control you. Brene went on to say in that video, she said that she used to think making peace meant letting people off the hook, or saying, well, it wasn't that bad, or I am so over it. But that's not peace. Peace isn't soft. It's not weak. It's actually incredibly strong, because real peace asks you to do something really hard. It asks you to accept what happened. Not approve of it, not agree with it, but accept that it happened and it changed you, and that you are no longer going to wait for someone else to fix it before you decide to heal. You see, we're wired for closure. We want to make sense of things. We want to hear that person say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. But if that day never comes, are we just supposed to hold on to that pain and think, well, if I stay hurt, it is going to really show them? But staying hurt, it doesn't show them anything. And more importantly, it doesn't protect you either. It actually keeps you playing small. It keeps your life small. But when you acknowledge and you accept it, pain becomes just a part of your story, not the whole story. It gets a seat at the table, but it doesn't run the meeting. That's peace. It's saying I'm choosing not to carry the weight of it every single day like I have been. Those were the words that Brene Brown, I kind of summarized what she said in that video. And I just really think that what she did with those words was change in my mind what peace really means. Like, I used to think peace was this fluffy, passive thing, like pretending everything's fine. But she's saying that it's a choice, and it's a strong one. It's not about forgiving someone who doesn't care, or saying their actions didn't hurt when you know they did. It's about refusing to let that pain define you. And I've been there, carrying the weight of relationship with a sister that won't speak to me or have anything to do with me because of religion. I've hung on to my anger, wanting her to feel my pain. I've waited for an apology that never came and is never going to come, because she feels she's doing what God expects her to do. It's exhausting using mental space for that. And Brene's point about really being wired for closure, it hit me. We crave that I'm sorry so that we can make sense of the hurt. But holding on to that hope, it can just keep us stuck. When I finally accepted that things aren't changing, it didn't erase the pain, but it really freed up space for me to move forward. And why does that matter? Well, because unresolved endings, whether it's a friendship or a romance or even a family rift, they can weigh us down. And research has showed that we are wired for connection. But when those connections break without closure, it's like an open wound. And we think staying angry keeps the other person accountable. Have you ever thought that? Like, oh, they're going to, I'm so mad. Or you feel in your mind like, if I stay mad, then they're going to, really be punished. But as she says, they probably aren't thinking about it. You are. That is the gut punch. I've caught myself replaying my conversation with my sister over and over and wanting to hang on to my pain, thinking my hurt somehow proves that she was wrong. But it doesn't. It just limits my life. Letting go doesn't mean that I let her off the hook. It means that I'm choosing myself. And studies back this up, that holding on to resentment can increase your stress, and it even impacts your physical health. It'll raise your blood pressure, give you high blood pressure. You see, peace isn't weak. It's one of the strongest, most powerful things you can give yourself. Eric and I were talking about this episode, and he reminded me about a meditation that Jeff Warren guided us through on the Calm app. And in that meditation, Jeff was talking about how deep physical wounds, when they heal, they still leave a scar. You may see that scar when you look in the mirror, when you turn your hand over. Well, emotional wounds, when healed, they still leave a scar too. But those scars may show up when you hear a song or you see a picture, or maybe even just when a thought pops into your head. And he said, when you see that scar, of course, it's normal to remember how it got there. But instead of reliving that pain every single time, you can say, oh yeah, that's my scar. Because in a way that accepts that something did happen, but it also acknowledges that you've healed. And I love that so much. We aren't acting like nothing happened, but we're also no longer giving it power to wreck us. That's power to me. Sometimes a deep emotional wound can make you feel like a part of you is missing. But instead of dwelling on what's not there, maybe ask yourself, okay, this thing happened. Now, what do I need to do to feel whole? Because that's our goal. I mean, we want to feel whole, right? Maybe in order to feel whole, you need to journal. For me, it was meditation and leaning into the family that I do have, which is a lot and has been amazing. You see, the idea that the pain can still have a seat at the table, but it's not running the meeting anymore, that's crucial to me. I mean, you don't deny the hurt. You just don't let it take over your life. So here's your challenge for this week. Pick one unresolved ending in your life. Maybe actually write it down. Journal what happened and how it made you feel. And then come up with one sentence about how you want to move forward. And it could be something like, I'm letting go of waiting for that apology. But also you may not know the answer yet. So you can do what Tony Robbins always tells us to do, and that is to ask better questions so that you get better answers. So maybe instead of feeling you need a plan immediately, you can ask yourself, what is it that I need to do to feel whole? And then let that question marinate. Let it marinate for a while, and eventually your brain is going to give you the answer. Share this with 3 people who deserve to feel whole. I love you guys. I really do. I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together. And I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.